Hello folks, my name's David Edgar, I'm the host of Heart and Rangers podcast, and I'm coming to you today with one of these post-match videos that we do after Rangers' 2-1 victory over Hearts at Ibrox. Hell of a week, it was one hell of a week, and I don't think confidence was massively high going into this. I was hoping for a reaction, but I think that we've all seen this season so many times when you're hopeful of a reaction from Rangers and you just don't get it. But I thought the opening half an hour today, they did. Didn't create a lot, in all honesty, but certainly there was a lot more commitment shown. There was a tackle very early on from Graham Dorrans where he won the ball, but he went right into it 100% committed, and I thought, God, where was that last week? But we pushed Hearts back. To be fair, Hearts' game plan, I think, was to sit in and try and soak it up and hit us on the break, where they had Lafferty and Naismith up front. And they had 3 centre-backs, 2 defensive midfielders, quite clearly were like, come at us, try and break us down. And Rangers did, especially in the last 15 minutes of the first half, kind of get into that trap that we fall into so often where it's like, right, we haven't scored for half an hour, so now we're just going to panic a little bit and start getting the ball out wide and crossing it in from deep. And Hearts have got Christophe Berra in there, and he could do that till he's in his 80s. He'll just stand there and head the ball away. And gradually we sort of diminished in threat as the game went on. Into the second half, and Rangers take the lead almost immediately with a lovely goal, a great ball from Josh Windass that frees Jamie Murphy. He plays it in on the right, he plays it in. Daniel Candeias has made the run to the near post, stops, turns, knocks it back. There's Jason Cummings, who probably would have been a bit further in had Berra not fouled him in the run as they were running into to get on the end of it. Berra's kind of held him back. Cummings has went down, he's got back up, and then that wee delay allows him to be in the perfect spot. But falls to him, he finishes 1-0. And look, if there's a player that's kind of untouched by the malaise around Ibrox and the eyes of the fans, it's Jason Cummings, and we need to get him signed up. And look, you can do all the technical arguments about, does he fit a one-man up front? Can he do this? Can he do that? He scores goals and the fans like him, and he'll cost 600 grand, and that is all there is to it. He's got balls. He stands out in that team because he has that cockiness, that arrogance that we need. It's not a misplaced arrogance. It's born of, if you put me in the side, I'll score goals, and he will. And yeah, he might not be as good an all-round player as Alfredo Morelos, but I know who I'd rather a chance fail, to put it that way. Anyway, Rangers then begin to play some really, really nice stuff with Daniel Candeias on the right-hand side and Jamie Murphy on the left-hand side. Really the best 2 players on the park. Jamie Murphy goes on a fantastic run where he beats, I think, 2 or 3 guys. I'd need to see it again, but just a fantastic run, and it took a good block. Otherwise, it would have been one of the goals of the season. Daniel Candeias then scores a beauty, a great move by Rangers down the left-hand side. Superb ball in by Murphy, who, by the way, Scott said was pish after 3 games. And there arrives Daniel Candeias with the bullet header. That's not something you would expect to see, a full-on houching, and that's one for older bears. And nods us 2-0 up, and at that point it looks as though we're going to go on and score a few more. But of course, we're Rangers, we need to do things a difficult way. Tav gives away a stupid free kick. Not the first time I've said that. Great delivery from Hearts, and then Rangers trying a kind of strangely alternative marking scheme where nobody seemed to bother marking an actual Hearts player. And it looked to me that if, I think it was Berra headed it in, if it hadn't been Berra, it would have been 1 or 2 or 3 others, because Rangers' defence was absolutely nowhere. Look, it was a good delivery, but where are you expecting it to go? And the fact that Berra got the nod on it, I mean, if he hadn't, there looked to be 3 or 4 others who were about to do so. Terrible goal, but Rangers' game management the last 20 was great. Should have actually won by more. Jason Cummings has missed a really good chance and gone off injured straight afterwards. Alfredo Morelos come on. He's had one cleared off the line when he really should have passed to Jason Holt. He's done another kind of half chance, and there were chances for Rangers to put it away, but apart from one where Kyle Lafferty has got free in the box and hit a curling shot that's hit the outside of the post, we haven't really looked like conceding, and fair play to them for that. It's hard to analyse it from anything other than the Rangers' point of view, and I don't really try to, but if I was a Hearts fan, I'd be gutted that they didn't show more invention today, because Rangers were there for the taking in terms of confidence. There were banners up pre-match saying no fight, no pride, we deserve better. I heard that somewhere before, so be careful, lads, when that phrase enters your life, things can start to go a bit nuts, take it from me. But I didn't think that their game plan at all. Put it this way, if we had to play somebody that was going to sit in and try and frustrate us was fine, because we're used to that. What we would have really I think annoyed the crowd would have been had Hearts came right out and started dominating us, and our players were kind of shocked from last week. But, you know, they did play better. They did apply themselves, and credit's where it's due. A lot will be made of the celebration, where Daniel Candeias, I thought, was running over to Graham Murray, but he kind of ran past him and ran to Andy Halliday, and then all the subs and the players celebrated together. Don't know if you can read stuff into that. People will. You can't think that they weren't supposed to read stuff into it, otherwise why did they do it? So it was another talking point in a season that's not exactly been short of them. But it was a good win. It was a really good performance. Hearts, let's be honest, they're the worst team in the top six. That's not up for debate. That's their position. That's also their form. And you would expect to win that match, because I suspect the rest of the teams competing for second will beat Hearts. So yes, it's job done. Yes, it's good to be back on the road after last week. But equally, let's not kid ourselves about what it was. It was a good performance. And look, the way we've been at home this season, I'm not going to complain about beating anybody at home. But it doesn't really alter the problems we saw last week. It doesn't alter the fact that we've got a very difficult game next week as we go to Parkhead, and they're going to be up for it and buzzing. And look, see if our team are going to turn up with the attitude that they had last week. They look like a bunch of Waynes that you'd made watch a scary movie. They were terrified, and if they turn up like that next week, then could they just let us know in advance and we'll all arrange alternate plans. If they go there and they show a bit of fight and a bit of pride and actually compete and they lose, that's one thing. That is one thing. But if they turn up and give that omni shambles of a horror show that we saw last week, then trust me, the stuff that will go on hold for a few days will be back with a vengeance next week. Overall, I would have taken 3 points before a ball was kicked. We did see some good football. Candeias was my man of the match. You could also have had a shout for Jamie Murphy. And one thing in a negative, I thought that the attitude of Morelos today was honking. I thought everything about him was honking today, and I don't know. He doesn't want to be here by the looks of things. And if that's the case, I hope that we grant him his wish in the summer, because look, it's maybe just me, but I'm kind of done in with the histrionics and the huffiness at this point. I think that it's maybe best for everybody if he was to leave. But, you know, he is a good player. I'm not denying that. You may like him a great deal. That's entirely up to you. That's just where I am personally. Okay, if you want to hear a wee bit more from Heart and Hand the Rangers podcast, all you need to do is go to our Patreon site. That's patreon.com/Heart and Hand, where you will find up to 4 shows a day, usually 3, but sometimes 4 shows a day, all on the Teddy Bears and other types of football from all over the world. Tonight we will have a phone-in, for example. So there's always something going on over there. If not, and you're just happy to listen to the 2 free podcasts a week, that's fantastic. Thank you for choosing to support us in that fashion. To do that, just go to wherever you get your podcast on a Monday and a Thursday, and up we shall pop. So until I speak to you again, thank you very, very, very much for taking the time to listen to me. It's a pleasure, as always, and I'll speak to you again next week. Fingers crossed. Bye.